Hi, Sue Wilson back again today. And with the card I'm showcasing, I'm going to show you how you can use background dies for other uses than simply backgrounds, okay? To introduce the dies and other products that we'll be using today, I have got the background from the French collection here, and this is a stunning, beautifully detailed die, and I think it looks absolutely lovely in this card. I've got the border, corner, and tag from the French collection also. The Provence set. And the Auvergne, all from the French collection. And for our embossing, we're going to be using the quilted flower. This is one of the A4 embossing folders from Creative Expressions. So let's set these out of the way. First thing I'm going to be doing is the embossing with the quilted flower. So I've got a piece of coconut white card. I'm going to pop it into our folder. And because this is set up in rows, you want to make sure that your cardstock goes in there very straight. And let's pop it through with our base plate. And then I need the raspberry adapter plate on top. There's no tan mat for this. And that's the sandwich for the grand caliber that we're using. Go. Oh, look at the embossing on that. It is so pretty. Really, really like that. Okay, so next thing I want to do is, even though I've got one cut for you, I want to show you this border die. It is lovely. It's from the French collection, and it just cuts beautifully. So I've got a piece of the little raspberry card that we're using. I'm going to pop this into place with a little bit of removable tape and run it through. Sometimes it's nice just to see how well the dies do cut. Let's see. And I can take this apart. Take my tape off. I can reuse that later. Oops. And pop this out for you. And you can see, now there's quite a bit of poking out there, but everything is cut absolutely stunningly. But I've already got one ahead of time done for you. In fact, I've done one in the raspberry and one in the black, kind of as a little bit of a shadow. So I'll go ahead and put them onto the card first, and then we'll build our way up to the focal element. So using a little bit of the Cosmic Shimmer glue, I'm going to just put that on the back of the black first, and we'll trim off the extra bits. Let's line that up right about, let's see, about like that, I think. You can use a bit of the pattern from the quilted flower there to get it nice and straight. And then on top of that, we're going to just offset it a tiny bit with the raspberry. Just so you can see a little bit of it. There we go. Give that a second to set up, and we'll trim the edges. Now I think it's easier myself to go against the card and use that as an edge. If you have a paper cutter at home, that's probably a faster way to do it too. So you've got little bits you can get rid of there. And then you can kind of give it a little bit of forming too, and that'll bring it up so you can get just a little more interest to your card. Add pearls later, anything like that, it's fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this into place onto a piece of white mat that I have, and then we'll work on our focal element. Got a little bit of gilding flakes stuck on there. And that looks good. Okay, now I have gone ahead and cut one of the backgrounds from the French collection. See how gorgeous that is. But you don't always want to have a full background for your card. I love the interest of this, so I'm going to use that part of it. And just to show you what I've done ahead of time, in fact I'll illustrate it for you, is I've used the outer ring from the Auvergne with the inner ring, cutting edge from the Provence to cut my black frame, okay? And then I've used these two on the Provence to cut a thinner frame. I like the way the dyes mix and match so you can get different matte areas, and I've used that right here to illustrate for you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this one into place with a little bit of glue, just around the edge here like this. Doesn't take too much. Oop. And we will get it stacked on top of that, and it just gives it a little more interest. And I'm going to have to just lean into the shot a little bit so I can see where I am. There we go. So now you've got a black and a white frame, so it really draws your eye in. Okay, so a bit of mounting foam on the back of this already. And we're going to peel the backing off. Just take a second here. I love the way the mounting foam just gives it an extra dimension to your cards. I think that sometimes that's all that they really need. Okay, so I'm going to just center it over the middle of this background. That looks nice. And now I'm going to use my scissors and I'm going to go underneath it and cut the extra edge away. So you can use the pretty part right in the middle, but you don't need to have the whole entire part there. Oops, let's get under there. Cut that. Oh. There we go. And just kind of angle your scissors underneath until you hit the mounting foam, so you know you haven't gone in too far, and try not to hit the frame on top. You don't want to cut into that. And this edge. There we go. Now just take a look at it and see that you've got all of it cut so you can't see any bits of it peeking out from underneath. Make sure it's nice. That looks really pretty, I think. Love that color combination. And we're going to do some gluing into place with this one. So I'm just going to go back to my Cosmic Shimmer glue, and I'm going to put a little around here. And you'll probably catch some of the mounting foam that's exposed too. Put some in the very center, just to hold it nicely secure in place. And we'll pop that right on the top part of our card. How pretty is that? Okay, and we'll go ahead and set this up, and then we'll finish the last little bit for you. So I'm going to just use some glue on the back part. And I've already gone ahead and pierced and matted up and layered my framed edge. Pop that right there. And now I've stamped a sentiment already, and we're going to use the tag from this French collection. It's very, very pretty. And we'll just line this over our stamped sentiment. I think that's the way to do it, is to stamp first and then cut afterwards. That way you don't have to worry about possibly not getting it straight. Pop this in place, and we'll run it through the grand caliper. I've got it down to the edge here, so I can probably just run it up. There we go, and run it back. And this one just practically falls out for you. So what I'm going to do while it's still in the die is I'm going to take just a little bit of picked raspberry distress ink. And this is very vibrant, so I'm going to try and just be very light-handed with it. Maybe even starting with a little bit off the edge here, taking some of my ink off the cut and dry foam before I even get to the white card. I just want a little bit of a halo to it. Move my tape out of the way. There we go. That's just about right. Just enough to lift it, I think, without really being overwhelming on it. There we go. Pop the lid back on there, and let's see how that looks. Just got a couple of little pieces here that need to be poked out. There we go. And let's see, I'll use here's a little piece of mounting foam we'll use on the back. We can sit that right in the center of our card. Oh, that looks gorgeous there. Really nice and even. And to finish it off, I've taken and tied a double bow out of the satin edged organza. This is a really pretty deep, almost like a burgundy color. I've put a black crystal sparkler on the knot there, and we will just seat that into place with some glue dots. And I kind of like it offset a little bit on the side there. And I went ahead and made a couple of fancy stick pins using some glossy accents and some beads on our pins there. And we're just going to put those sharp ends right into the knot so it protects you. There we go. And you have a gorgeous card. Nobody but you would ever know you've used a background to create that shape. Absolutely lovely. I hope you've really enjoyed the video today and look forward to seeing you again soon.